Hello, everyone. It's Carla Gambell here, coming to you live, well, semi live, recorded from Australia. Thank you, Gail, and thank you to everyone here for having me in this space and giving me the opportunity to talk with all of you about my favorite subject that I'm so passionate about, which is health, fitness, wellness, anything to do with this subject. I am so passionate about. And I think over the last 20 plus years that I've been coaching in this industry, and I've been coaching so many different walks of life, from competitive bodybuilders to um, people who are just wanting to lose weight and get in shape, to obese people that need mindset changes and whole lifestyle changes. Everyone, I think, has had the same question initially, which is, how do I start? How do I stay on track? How do you do it, Carla? How do you live that healthy lifestyle? Make those daily choices that are keeping you on track and in that lifestyle that you love. And I have to say that it's been a work in progress, right? So I wasn't born like this. And I think, many people see my profile and they see this professional athlete, whatever, and they think, well, she was always like that. And it's not the case. It's kind of like willpower, even, is like a muscle, and you have to use it over and over again until it becomes stronger, and then it just becomes second nature. And I think, making those right choices day in, day out, it just starts to become second nature. But that doesn't mean I always make the right choices, of course not. There has to be balance. And this is a huge thing that I'm pushing with all of my clients, is finding that balance. And I think a lot of people have that mindset. If they're going to be heading on a health and fitness journey, they need to be on a diet, which is not the case. That's like the opposite to what you should be doing. There's so many diets. And I'm going to actually share my screen in a moment and take you through a few slides. I'm a really visual person, and I really learn from visual things. So I'm hoping that seeing some visual slides will help you guys as well. And please feel free to take screenshots as well, because there's some really good tips in there for you to help you along your journey. So wherever you're at on your journey, there will be some takeaways for you. So I think, you know, making sure that we do find that balance and not feeling like we are yo-yoing constantly, which I know so many people feel that way. They're constantly on or off a diet or on or off a program, and you get that whole yo-yo, up and down. You lose weight, put it on, lose weight, put more on, lose weight, put it back on, and it's a constant battle, because the diets actually don't really teach you balance, long-term balance. And this is the key to maintaining those long-term results. So really important to not just jump on every single fad diet that you come across. Yes, you might get those quick results, but there's a rebound, which is really not very pretty, right? So I really preach about finding that balance. And if you can stick with that 80-20 rule, 80% on the plan, diligent, following everything, making the right choices, and then 20%, you can relax it a little. This means that you don't feel like you're restricting yourself so much. and you can stick with this much more long term. This is just a way of life. It's just a way that you live your life, 80/20, and you can maintain it for longer. The results might come a little bit slower, but they'll be much more attainable. So, shall we get into it? I'm going to share my screen, and just bear with me a moment. And let me just go back to the beginning. Sorry, guys, I should have had this up. Bear with me. Present. Beautiful. All right, so this is absolutely my motto. Live healthy, live strong. And there is no reason why you can't do that when you know how. So this sort of brings me back to what I was kind of talking about a little bit. What do we all want in life? Most of us want success, wealth, love, happiness, and health. Pretty much in a nutshell, right? But what's the most important thing out of that? It's your health. It is. It really, really is. So we can't have any of the above. We can't have success. We can't have wealth. We can't have love or happiness if we do not have our health. If you're constantly battling health issues, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to love yourself. Because when we think of love, we think, oh, a partner, family. Yeah, but what about loving yourself? Because you need to love yourself first before you can then pour from your cup, right? Wealth and success, none of that is going to do you any good if you're unhealthy. So this should really be everyone's primary goal and priority above absolutely anything else. So this is something I want you to get into the habit of asking yourself. Whenever you need to make a decision in relation to whether it's your, maybe it's a business goal that you're going for. Maybe it's a health goal or just a lifestyle goal. Does this support the life I'm working to create? So getting clear about what life you are working to create. We've all got business goals and career goals and all these sorts of things. But what does it look like? What does that lifestyle look like? Health must be part of that. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to enjoy it. So every little decision that you come across, ask yourself, does this support the life I'm working to create? So what do you struggle with the most? These are some really common things that I hear all the time. Getting started is a big one. People just feel overwhelmed because perhaps they've got so much work to do and it's overwhelming that they just kind of procrastinate and freeze. That negative self-talk, knowing what to eat, how much to eat, knowing what diet to follow, which is a big no-no. But these are the things that I hear very, very commonly. So here are my 5 top tips to help you get started. Now, feel free to take a screenshot of this. Number 1, write down your goal and why you want to achieve it. Ensure you have a really strong connection to your why. Your SMART goals. Everyone knows SMART goals. You can Google it if you're not sure what it stands for. But it's basically setting specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic and timely goals. Make sure that you are also setting short-term goals or short-term targets, because sometimes a big goal can feel really overwhelming. But when you break it down into small sections, it doesn't feel so overwhelming and so scary. Number two, creating a healthy plan. So, like what I was just talking about, that 80-20 rule, focus on eating a really balanced diet that's rich in lean proteins, fresh fruit, lots of variety in vegetables, and some whole grains. Avoid processed and sugary foods. They're pretty much useless calories. Number three, track your progress. This is a really great tool as well. So use an app or a journal to keep track of your progress and your goals. With all of my clients, I will always get them to take progress pictures. And I know that's really daunting and feels really kind of icky, but it is so powerful when you can look back and compare those photos over a number of months. Usually every 6 weeks is when I get my clients to redo their photos and full measurements, so full body measurements. You can certainly track your progress weekly. Don't get too obsessed about the scales though, because it's not all about what's happening on the scales, especially if you are doing some sort of resistance training, which I would highly recommend. A variety of different exercises is key to overall health and wellness and well-being and progression as well. The more muscle you have, the more body fat your body actually burns. So having a little bit of muscle, and that doesn't mean that you have to look like a bodybuilder, but having that really nice lean muscle, that toned look, is actually going to help you burn more calories and increase your metabolic rate. Number four, stay really positive. Remember that you're on a journey and it's not going to happen in a flash. So be really realistic with your targets that you are setting in a timely fashion, and be patient with yourself, because not every health and fitness journey is smooth sailing. It never is. There's always a few bumps in the road that will either knock you off track or just push you off momentarily until you get back on. And remember that, because there's always stuff that's happening in your life, right? There's never the perfect timing to start a health and fitness journey. In fact, the perfect time is right now. It doesn't matter what is going on in your life, but we all still have to eat, right? So why not start with cleaning out your nutrition? Start with that if you can't manage anything else. So there's no better time like right now than to start that health and fitness journey. As I mentioned before, incorporating some exercise. The human body is designed to be active. Find an exercise plan that works for you and your lifestyle. Really important that it has to fit in with your lifestyle. So choosing, if you're super busy and you work really long hours and you've got a family to take care of and you've not really done any exercise in the past, choosing a plan that's a 5-day exercise plan is probably going to be unrealistic. So start small and work from there. So it might just be beginning with 2 or 3 30-minute walks a week, and then slowly just cleaning up your pantry. Yeah, getting rid of the temptation out of the house is a really, really good start, and then slowly progressing from there. So take a screenshot, guys. These are really, really handy tools and tips to have. So we talked about this. Oh my gosh. Can you believe, like, this is not even half of, this is just a snapshot of some of these crazy diets. And look at the one in the middle, the cookie diet. Seriously, I nearly lost my head when one of my clients said, "Oh, there's one of my colleagues at work, and she's about to start a cookie diet." I just went silent. I was actually, I didn't know what to say. I I had I had no words, and I was just like, "Wait, what? A what?" And I just said, "I actually don't even want to hear what it is, because it is so wrong that these things are out there." And I know you've all heard of the paleo diet and keto, and there's so many people that are like, "Oh, keto's amazing. Yeah, it really worked for me." Sure, short term, but long term, keto is really high in fats, and it's going to, if you stick with it long enough, it is going to affect your cholesterol. So, probably the safest one in there is actually the Mediterranean diet. Um, all the rest are rubbish, and they just bring you short term results, and they are not long lasting. You don't learn anything from it. And when you finish the diet, you go back to your old habits. So there's always that nasty rebound, like what I was mentioning before. So doesn't this look so much better? Take a screenshot, you guys, of this one. Um, this is just a really handy tool. I've got clients who actually print this out and laminate it because that's what helps them. This is really, really, it's basic, right? And it's everything that we kind of already know to a certain extent. Some of the portions you might go, "Oh, okay, I didn't actually know that." But this is such a basic tool to have that you can implement into your daily and weekly nutrition routines. So, um, feel free to take a screenshot and print this out and just start using this as like a food list. So, this is a next big question that I also get asked. How much protein should we have in a day? What should we be doing as far as protein comes along? So it really does depend on your activity levels. As you can see in the little table there, there's quite a difference when we're talking about someone who doesn't exercise, sedentary, to an athlete who's looking at gaining muscle. Someone who's mildly active, weight loss, in that one should be weight loss, but with some activity, a moderate activity level. So when we're calculating how much protein we should have in a day, we want to work these numbers off our ideal weight or our lean weight, not our current weight. So if you can, just as an example, you might have someone who's 100 kilos right now, but they have 30 kilos to lose. We're not going to set those numbers on 100 kilos, their current weight. We set their numbers on their ideal weight or their lean weight. So, this is another one to take a screenshot of, because you guys can actually work out how much protein you should be having in a day. And I know a lot of you will probably be surprised at how much protein you should be having a day. And when you break down what you are having, it's probably nowhere near enough. So, really, really important. You guys can work that out for yourselves. The next one is just an example, because this is the other confusion 100 grams of meat is not 100 grams of protein. As you can see here, 100 grams of chicken breast is actually 22 grams of protein, right? And the salmon, the beef, and one egg is basically 6 grams of protein. So this is really, really important to understand that when you have 100 grams of chicken breast, that's not 100 grams of protein. So as you can see, when you go back to if your intake is supposed to be 100 grams of protein per day, once you work out your numbers, that's a lot of food, right? And probably a lot of you aren't getting anywhere near this. So work on it slowly, work up to it slowly. If you're nowhere near the numbers that you should be on according to that chart, work up to it slowly. Don't go bang, right, from tomorrow, I'm going to be on 100 grams of protein, and try and maybe right now you're only having 50 or 60 grams of protein. That's going to be quite a significant change. So make sure you make those changes slowly and progressively over a number of weeks, even over 4 or 5 weeks would be fine. Fasting, I really wanted to talk about fasting because it's kind of the hype. And look, fasting has actually been around for since man was created, um, and it's not a new thing. It's just been labeled, right? So this is just a really good indication. Ignore the top section there. They're just some products that you can use while fasting. But just take note of the actual diagram there, which gives you an indication of how fasting works and the different categories that your body goes through when you are fasting. So up to the first sort of 12 hours of fasting, that's when or between 8 to 12 hours is when you'll hit into what we call ketosis, which is when your body starts breaking down from your fat cells and using your fat storages as energy. Then the 12 to 16 hour mark is when your human growth hormone increases, which is great for lean muscle development. And then 20 to 24 hours autophagy. That word autophagy is gold. So autophagy is cell regeneration, basically, when your body starts regenerating and clearing out old degenerative cells from the body and regenerating those cells all over the body, right? So we have something like 2.7 million cells in the body with about 200 different types of cells. So that's a lot of regeneration. So yes, I'm a big fan of fasting, but done the right way. So the way that I do it is I throw in a 24-hour fast once every 2 weeks. I'm not a huge believer of those who intermittent fast every single day, because it's not really intermittent fasting when you're doing it every day. You want to keep the body guessing. So when you want your body getting into autophagy as well. So just that one day where you can get your body into autophagy, just 24 hours, that includes your sleep time as well. So you can start your fasting from the time 4 hours after your last meal is when you can start the time clock on your fasting. So huge fan when it's done properly. So yeah, your fueling days are your normal eating plan days. Your fasting days are like your taking your car to the mechanics or getting your car serviced. So that's just another way of looking at it. Um, this is an app that you can use, the Life Fasting app. Really, really effective if you are into doing like a 24-hour fast. It tells you and gives you little notifications when you're hitting certain when you're hitting like ketosis and autophagy, which is really cool. Tracking, I know I spoke about this. This is really cool. And I want you guys, you can take a screenshot with the little body measurement tracker. You can get yourself some body composition scales. And this is one of my clients down the bottom with her before and after photos. Now, this time period was about 8 months, 8 to 9, about 8 to 9 months. Um, and as you can see, when you look back and put those photos together, it is so powerful and really motivating as well. So lots of different ways to track your progress. Really, really important, and helps keep you on track. Once again, going back to that question, everything you do, does this support the life I'm working to create? So there we have it. I hope you got a lot out of that and that you're all fired up to start your health and fitness journey. I hope that gives you a bit more knowledge around nutrition and how to actually plan out your nutrition days. Perhaps if you're throwing in a fasting day, I'd be more than happy if any of you want to jump on a free call consultation with me. I'd be more than happy to have a chat with any of you if you want to discuss your goals and how to actually move forward into the right direction and set a plan that's right for you. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed that and got some gold nuggets, so to speak, out of that. And thank you so much for having me on this space, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, Gail, once again. Thank you, guys. See ya.